Lessons from Conversations with God, Book 1, Neale Donald Walsch, Part 1 of 3. We're scratching the surface here. If you don't already have the book, order the book or get the audiobook to learn the juicy details. A summary of main insights from Conversations with God, Book 1, with page numbers 1 to 4. God talks to all people but just a few listen. God does not only talk but communicates. A talk is limited to words, thus, God do not communicate only with words. God's most common form of communication is feelings. Feeling is the language of the soul. If you want to know what's true for you, look at how you feel about it. God also communicates through thoughts, images and pictures, and experience. When feelings, thoughts and experience all fail, God then uses words. Words are the least effective way of communicating, since words are most open to misinterpretation. Words are utterances, noises that stand for feelings, thoughts and experiences. They are symbols, signs, insignias. Words may help understand something, but experience allows to know something. We emphasize too much the word of God, and too little the experience. 5. An experience is God's most powerful message, but this, mostly, is ignored by people. 6. All people are special. All moments are golden. No person and no one time are more special than another. Some people choose to believe that God communicates in special ways and only with special people. This belief removes the mass of the people from the responsibility of hearing God's message, much less receiving it. Such people do not have to listen to God, since they have decided that other people hear God for them, and have them to listen to. These people listen to others, and do not have to think at all. 7. If we receive God's messages, we then have the responsibility of interpreting them. It is far easier to accept the interpretation of others, even others who lived some 2,000 years ago, than to seek to interpret the message ourselves. 8. Scientific discoveries have been made from willingness and ability to not be right. Our feelings are the highest authoritative source to God. 10. God is not revealed through outward observation, but through inward experience. If a revelation is requested by a person, then it cannot be received since the act of asking is a statement that it is not there. Such a statement produces the experience of not having. Our thoughts are creative and our words are productive. Thoughts and words give birth to reality. 11. An effective prayer is never a supplication, but a prayer of gratitude. Thank God in advance for what you want, and this in effect will acknowledge that it is already there in effect. Gratitude cannot be used as a tool to lie. We cannot thank God for something that we know is not there. We must know that we have it, and be thankful for it. 12. We can be thankful for something is not there yet, by the help of faith. If we had the faith of a mustard seed, we would move mountains. 15. All human actions are the outcome of two emotions, fear or love. These are the only two emotions that exist. 18. God is not a punishing God. God does not judge, and is not to be feared. We have developed a fear-based love. 19. We have been taught to live in fear. We learn that the strong survives and that the clever succeed. Little is said to praise the glory of those who love. 20. The purpose of life is to be the glory. Life is not a process of discovery but a process of creation. We are not discovering ourselves, but creating ourselves. Seek not to find out who you are, but to determine who you are. 21. Life is not a process of schooling, rather it is a process of experiencing our knowingness. Life is to know experientially what we already know conceptually. We need to learn nothing to do this. We need only to remember what we already know, and act upon it. 22. The soul knows everything, but seeks the experience. We can know ourselves to be kind, but if we do not do someone kindness, we then have nothing but an idea. 27. Physicality is the only way to know experientially what is already known conceptually. It is concept turning to an experience. Once in a physical universe, man can experience what man knows, but first man has to come to know the opposite. We cannot know ourselves as tall unless we become aware of short. We experience what we are only when we have encountered what we are not. This is the purpose of the theory of relativity. To experience ourselves as the creators we need to create. We can create ourselves only when we uncreate ourselves. We first need to not be, in order to then be. 28. But, since we are living, how can we not be? by causing ourselves to forget who we are. Upon entering the physical universe, we relinquished our remembrance of ourselves. 32. Do not condemn the bad in the world. Rather, ask what you have judged bad, and what, if any, you wish to change. Inquire within, what part of myself I wish to experience now in the face of this event. What being I choose to call forth. Life is a tool of creation. Events are opportunities to decide to become who we really are. 33. Each soul is a master creating its own life and its own quickest path to remembering. Do not judge, envy, or pity, for you do not know what is success or failure to a soul. Is death a calamity if it saves the lives of thousands? Yet, do not ignore a call for help. 35. We create as fast as we think. We observe and decide who we are with regard to the events. There are no victims or villains. 36. Masters accept responsibility for all, and then they achieve the power to change part of it. If we believe that someone else is behaving badly to us, we give away our power to do something about it. But when we say, I am part of this situation, we can then find the power to change it. It is easier to change what you are doing, than try to change what others do. Seek to change a thing not because it is wrong, but because it no longer makes an accurate description of who you are. Pain is the result of a wrong thinking, an error in thought. Pain in judgment about something. Remove the judgment and pain will disappear. 38. Judgment is often based on previous experience. What we condemn will condemn us in return. What we judge, we will one day turn into. 40. There is no hell. There is, however, a state of unfulfillment of what you are. God does not seek to punish man for failing. God could simply dispose man if he so wished, rather than punish man. There is no hell after death. 41. However, there is an unhappy soul. The soul is unhappy when we separate ourselves from our highest thought. But this will not last forever, as God holds the truth of what we are and the truth will prevail. 42. We create ourselves each moment as we wish. Yet we can only create something once we have a choice, options to choose from. Thus, God will not punish us for making a choice that He Himself laid before us. God does not punish man, and yet, there are natural consequences, natural results and logical outcomes to actions we take. There are natural laws. 43. Our soul wants to realize itself while in the body. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy, said Shakespeare. 44. Quiet the outer world so that the inner world might bring you a sign. 45. All people are one. 46. A soul that is incarnated in a limited physical body, such as with paralyzed people, may have reached its full potential. We do not know and do not understand its agenda and intent, therefore bless every person and condition. There are no accidents or coincidences. 47. All life arises out of choices. It is not appropriate to interfere with choices, nor condemn them. Watch other people's choices, but do not judge them. People's choices are perfect for them. Always be ready to help when they ask for it. 50. God will not do a thing that we will not do to ourselves. 52. We will not, shall have, everlasting life, we already have it. We will not, shall be, God, we are already gods. All that requires is to know this. For we create our reality. We think life into being. 53. We do not listen to God's teachers, rather we kill them. We deny God, and do not accept God's grandest. Thus, we reduce our own spirituality to fear. We fear that God's promise is a lie. 54 to 55. We can be, do and have whatever we imagine. Emotion is energy in motion. We move energy around and in that way we create matter. Thought is pure energy. It never ends. It is forever in the universe. All thoughts meet and merge. Energy attracts like energy. Like thoughts combine in great amounts, and then they stick together to form matter. This matter exists until opposing forms of energy dismember it. That is the theory behind the atomic bomb. Like-minded people can work together to create a favored reality. Strong thoughts turn energy into matter. 56. All religions teach not to fear. Fear attracts fear. Thought is creative. Fear attracts like energy. Love is all there is. The feeling of love is our experience of God. 57. Fear is the other end of love. Our physical world is relative. Masters refuse fear and choose love. Love in every instant, in every moment. Physical life holds either love or fear, and so masters decide to choose love at all times. Even when masters were being killed, they loved their murderers. When persecuted, they loved their oppressors. 58. All people had experiences in their life indicating that love is the answer. Even reading this summary of Conversations with God book, or reading the actual book, are not coincidences. The book was sent by God, who can hear the cry of people's heart, and who sees the search of people's soul. 59. God speaks to us simply, not through bells and whistles. God is everywhere, not just in one way or one form. 60. We look for God and may not find her, since we usually look for a him. God is in the profane and in the profound. God is all. God is the up and down, the hot and the cold, the left and right, the reverent and irreverent. God can laugh, can enjoy a good joke. God invented humor. God knows all words, seen all sights, heard all sounds. God despites nothing, since all is life, and life is holy. God is life. God is the stuff life is. 61 to 63. All that exists in life has a purpose and is approved by God. God's plan for man is that we can create everything we want, even bad things. In such freedom lies the experience of God being God. This is the experience God created us for. God does not love good more than bad. Good and bad both go to heaven. If we are not happy with who we are, then we can choose to change our ideas. And if you are happy, then fight for your values. Yet, seek to fight without harming others. We all gain some values that were made for us, and which are not really ours. We have created ourselves out of experiences of others. When we encounter our actual experience, we then put what we think we already know onto the experience, and throw away our own true experience. We reframe experiences with previous knowledge. Yet, our parents, teachers, and books we learned from, may all be wrong. We deny our own experience in favor of what we have been told to think. We are taught in some places that money is bad, and we form our thoughts around it. Our thoughts are creative. We have thus created personal reality around money, which pushes money away from us, for we do not want to attract that which we think is not good. 64. God does not ask for our worship or obedience. Worship was created by insecure, tyrannical monarchs. 65. God does not need our worship. God does not need a thing, as God is all that is. God lacks nothing, and needs nothing. God is not hurt for not getting something from us, and does not punish people for not giving him. End of Part 1. Lessons from Conversations with God, Book 1, Neale Donald Walsch, Part 2 of 3. A summary of main insights from Conversations with God, Book 1, with page numbers 66 to 67. Hold on to values that serve you. Look which values bring the highest you. Examine them. Tell the world. If you can tell the world who you are without hesitating, then you are happy with yourself. Then you have created yourself and reached perfection. If we are not perfect, we can ask God for help. Some people hesitate when God talks to them, since they do not consider themselves worthy enough to be spoken by God. How God then can speak to us, if we do not imagine ourselves worthy for it? God speaks directly to the author of the book, Neale Donald Walsch, and to all those who read it. 73. God's promise is to always give us what we ask for. Our promise is to ask. We are threefold being: body, mind and spirit. The physical, the non-physical and the metaphysical. God is also three in one: past, present, future. Here, there, and in between. 74. We know that there is a space between, but we find it hard to describe it. When we define it, it becomes here and there. Still, the space between do exist and also hold the here and there. Just as the eternal now holds the before and after. There are three energies: thought, word and action. Together the three produce result, experiences. Our soul, subconscious, id, spirit, past, is the total sum of our feelings. Our awareness of some of these is our memory. Remembering is to reassemble the parts of who we are. This process begins with the thought, an idea, a concept, a visualization. All that we see was once someone else's idea. Nothing exists now that did not first exist as pure thought. All that now exists started as pure thought. Next in the process is the word. Word is a thought expressed. Words are creative, they are more creative than thoughts, as they are a different level of vibration. Next is action. Actions are words moving. Actions, words, thoughts, ideas. The beginning is God. The end is action. 75. God's promise to us is that we are equal to Him. No less. We are responsible for creating. 76. We are God, and need to live as such. As God we can create heaven. But fellow men will fear such changes in their lifestyle that we may bring, and so they will stand against us. When accepting our holy truth, we will be accused, deserted, hated by fellow men. So why then go for this? Because we are no longer concerned with the acceptance or approval of the world, and because we seek a better world. 77. Seek no longer, but call it forth now. Go to your highest thoughts about yourself. Imagine that you live that thought. Imagine what would you do then? What would you think, say, and how will you respond to others? Now, start to consciously change your thoughts, words and actions so that they meet your grandest vision. This requires a conscious choice making. This challenge teaches us that we spend half of our lives unconscious, unaware. Hear now a call to stop the unconscious living style. 78. When you have a thought that does not align with your vision, change the thought. Imagine your highest thought, and then move into it. 79. Thoughts rule how we experience ourselves. Thoughts like, I am broke, I don't have money dictate how long we stay broke. It is our feeling of sorry for ourselves, the sitting around and not trying to find a way, which keep us in a situation. No condition is good or bad. It is just it. So, we should stop making value judgments. All conditions are temporary, and the way they will change depend on us. 80 to 81. Our medical profession keeps people alive, rather than keeping people comfortable so that they can die with dignity, if they choose to. To a doctor, death can be seen as a failure. To the relative of ill person, death is disaster. Only to the soul of the ill person, death can be a relief, if it chooses so. Our soul governs our mind and body. We think we are our body and our mind. At the point of death, rebirth, we find out who we truly are. Sometimes our body and mind are not listening to the soul. When the soul decides to leave, the mind, ego, and the body may resist, as death is the end of mind and body. 82. If the soul knows that there is no further way it can evolve through this body, then it will leave. The soul is careless for the mind and body's achievements. It knows that death is tragedy, yet when not evolving anymore, the tragedy is for the soul to remain in the body. Seek what your soul wants. Stop judging yourself when wanting to die or wanting to live a truly life of laugh, cry, win, lost, joy, love. We always judge ourselves for wanting these. Especially we judge ourselves with regards to love. To deny joy is not a godly act at all. 83. Learn your soul's desires and go with the soul. The soul is the highest form of love. It is after the feeling, not the knowledge. It already has the knowledge. Knowledge is conceptual, feeling is experiential. Perfect love is the highest feeling. It is the unity with all that is. Just as white is the total sum of all colors, so love is the total sum of all feeling, hate, anger, lust, joy, jealousy, honor. Perfect love is to experience every human feeling. 84. The soul can be up only if it has been down. It can be on the left if it has been on the right. To choose grandeur there must be non-grand option. Thus the soul will never condemn that which is not grand, but will bless it, seeing in it a part of itself which must exist for another part of itself to manifest. Our soul wants the grandeur, the best, and without condemning what we do not choose. 85. When accepting the bad, can we heal it? We cannot choose to be good if there is nothing else to choose from. 86. It is okay to want to be better, yet we are not bad at first. We are born God and love. 90. All people's attacks on other people are calls for help. When people attack, they actually calling for help. 91. We create by thoughts, word and deed. We can only create something that we fully believe in, and know of. This is absolute faith. 92. All is part of you. So, bless all, do not condemn it. 93. Call forth the creative power, by the strongest creative statement, I am. Say it loud. With intent and discipline, we can harness our thoughts and control them. We have trained ourselves well to think negatively. We can train ourselves to think positively. 94. God is in our heart, not in our mind. 95. God did not command us. Would he command himself? Or, would he command us just to watch by how we violate his rule, how his rule is disobeyed? 96 to 97. These are the 10 commitments. You shall know that you have found God. You shall love God. No longer you will worship humans' love, success, money, power, symbols. You shall not use the name of God in vain, for you cannot do it. God's name, I am, has always results. When you find God, you shall know it. You shall keep a holy day to remind you who you are. And then you will soon call every day Sabbath, and every moment holy. You shall honor your father and mother, and you will know you are the son of God. You know you have found God when you observe that you will not murder, will not willfully kill without cause. All life is eternal, so you cannot end another's life. You will not act dishonest or deceit. You will not steal. You will not say a thing that is not truth. You shall not covet your neighbor's spouse, as you will know all others are your spouse. You shall not covet your neighbor's goods, as you will know all goods can be yours and belong to the world. These are freedoms, not restrictions. These are commitments that indicate when we have found God. 98. There is no such thing as heaven. There is only a knowing that you are already there. 99. Knowing we are in heaven, even though not experiencing it yet, will bring it to us. This is enlightenment. The knowing opens up the door to experiencing. 100. We need not overcome desires, but change them. We need not overcome passion, but accept them. What you resist, persists. What you look at, disappears. Some truly passionate people seek to overcome their passions, but that attempt is a passion as well, the passion to overcome passion. Judge not your passion, simply notice it and see if it serves you. 101. Passion drives us forward to express who we are. It makes a concept into an experience. We should not deny our passions but deny an attachment to the result. Life without expectations is life of freedom. A renunciation is not to deny actions, but to deny a need for a particular result. We are creators, and so we create. We can enjoy creating, not enjoy the results. 102. Expectations separate man from God. God is happy with creating and experiencing. Man would not be happy with just creating and seeks for a reward on his creation. When we resist a specific event, energy, we then place that energy there. As we resist, it persists. Yet, what we look at, disappear, it ceases to hold illusory form. 103. If you truly look at something, you will see right through it. Do not think, I do not want this. Simply stop thinking of what you do not want. But if you cannot help thinking it, then do not resist it. Rather look at it directly, accept it as your own creation, and then choose if to keep it or put it away. 105. What happens in life is merely what's happening. How we feel about it is another matter. We have the tools to stop suffering but we do not use them. 107. We make real that which we pay attention to. 108. Our judgment keeps us away from joy, and our expectations make us unhappy. This causes for our diseases and sufferings. 110. Choose, but don't want. 114. We should render our children independent. Teach them how to get along without you, the parent. We are not a blessing to them so long as they need us to survive. We bless them when they realize we are not necessity to them. God's greatest moment is when you realize you need no God. A true master is not one with the most students, but one who creates the most masters. A true leader is not the one with the most followers, but one who creates the most leaders. A true king is not the one with the most subjects, but one who leads the most to royalty. 115. A true teacher is not the one with the most knowledge, but one who causes the most others to have knowledge. A true God is not one with the most servants, but one who serves the most, thereby making gods of all others. His subjects shall be no more, and all shall know God, not as the unattainable, but as the unavoidable. 116. It is about who we think we are. 118. One is not a victim when losing their job. One apparently asked for it. He asked for it as he stopped getting up in the morning in anticipation for the new day, and instead began getting up with dread, when he stopped feeling happy about his work, and started feeling resentment. When he even started fantasizing doing something else. All these actions have the power of active intention, and they create life. 120. We need to undo the teachings that say we are sin, and are small-minded that can do only little. 121. We already know love and we only need now to demonstrate it. Relationships with events, with people, with places, all allow us to experience ourselves. 122. Relationships are not about what we can get, but what we can put in. Relationships are meant for us to decide what I am in this, not what the other should be, so I could capture and hold. 123. Relationship is not about finding someone to make us feel complete. It is about finding someone to share our completeness. We set ideas that we think the other should fulfill, and then we get upset when they do not live our expectations. We should hold the grandest idea about ourselves. Who am I? I define who am I, not my partner. And she defines herself, not me. We are together to share our completeness. 126. People are in their sacred journey in life, and we need not stop them. First, relationship should be with the self. Knowing the self. Knowing that I am worthy, so that I will know that others are worthy as well. 128. We need to honor all our feelings in relationships, even those which seem bad. We need to experience all feelings in case that we do not know yet who we are. Then we may find ourselves. So, we need not be afraid of feelings but ask ourselves who we are regarding those relationships. End of Part 2. Lessons from Conversations with God. Book 1, Neale Donald Walsch, Part 3 of 3. A summary of main insights from Conversations with God, Book 1, with page numbers. 130. At all breaking points in life there is one question to ask. What would love do now? Love is not to retain the best of the other, but the best of yourself. 131. The highest good for me becomes the highest good for the other, as we all are one. There is nothing a part of me. 133. Sometimes people need to do what opposes them, then, this will allow them to become them. To have the idea of peace by giving up the idea of peace. You can prove who you are by demonstrating an aspect of who you are not. 134. This world is relative. A thing exists only in relation, to include people relationships, which is a field of experience to find and define yourself. 137. Relationships are not for obligation but for opportunities. Relationships to all things in life are tools in the work of the soul. 139. For many people love is about finding something they need in another person. This is a form of trade, where people say, I love you, where they should really say, I trade you. 141. Good relationship grows when both agree that the purpose is to elevate the self into a communion of two souls with God. This is the vow we should take when we marry. 142. There is more to people than we can see. Fear stops people from showing us their full self. But when you see more in the people, and they notice you see more in them, then they will feel safe to shine through. Relationships, just like healing, are best when we give people permission to let go of false thoughts they have had about themselves. 143. Becoming who we are, set an example to others to be who they are. 145. It takes great courage to announce yourself as a man of God. People will not accept that. All God's messengers had heartaches. 146. Little children never doubt that they know God. So do the messengers of God. 149. We can come to life again and again. We are here over and over again, since we love the drama, the pain, the not knowing, the mystery, the suspense. 150. We may live hundreds of lives, if we choose to. In past lives we have may actually killed people. 151. Some wars can protect people from an immediate evil, and that can be said to be okay. However, murder as a punishment or as retribution, or as a way to settle differences among people, is something else. God created life to live. To kill in the name of God is the highest blasphemy. 152. The more important the decisions we have to take in our life, the more we tend not to choose by our own experiences, but rather by someone else's idea over our own. We give away our control regarding the most important question in our lives. Religions are so popular because they give us set ideas, so that we do not need to think. It is easier to accept others' opinion as God's words about this and that. 153. We have more answers ready within us, if only we choose to listen. 158. Pain allows the experience of joy. Yet, as we gain wisdom, we learn joy without the need of pain. We learn, remember, to love without pain, to let go without pain, to create and cry without pain. 161. We do not need to be embarrassed about the truth of ourselves. Embarrassment is a response of a person who still has ego investment in how others see him. Some people consider money as bad, and God is good, so they never mix the two, and do not take money for any good thing. 164. Thought, word, deed. Some people believe that money is bad, but still, they want money. Money is not bad at all, and can train a new our sponsoring thought about it. We can train by reversing the thought word deed process. We can start with deed, doing, money actions, then we word it, and then our thought is trained. 165. There is enough money in the world, and enough time, love, food, water, and compassion to share with everyone. 168. You know that there is plenty, but poor people do not know that. So do not think twice about giving a beggar a 10 pounds note, just give it, do not let your thought kill the idea. There is much more money where you come from. You know it, the beggar does not know it, that is what separates you. Do not feel poor as the beggar, just give the 10 pounds note. Do it quick before your root thought, the negative one, gets you. To change a root thought you will need to act in accordance with a new idea. Do it often, so your mind will get the new idea. The idea of abundance, of lots of money. And that will turn into reality. In evolution we change our mind, and get rid of old thoughts of other people that dominate us. 170. The soul is being. The body is doing. The soul is being regardless of what the body is doing, and it doesn't care what your body is doing for a living. The soul only cares about what you are being while you are doing. The soul seeks experiencing being God. 171. Experience being God, not by doing but by being. 172. One person can be open, caring, helpful, confident, and joyful. Another person may possess the same skills, but he tends to be closed, distant, and grumpy. These two people can experience life completely different, although they have the same level of skills and profession. Beingness attracts beingness and produces experience. We are not here to produce with our body, but with our soul. The body is the tool of the soul. Our mind animates the body, and makes it go. 173. The soul looks for all options to choose from, and then it produces the conditions within which to create the experience. 175. In obedience there is no act of creation, thus there is no salvation. Obedience is a response, while creation is a choice. A pure choice produces salvation through the pure creation of the highest idea one holds. The soul indicates, not imposes. The mind chooses from alternations. The body acts out the choice. 176. Masters make life, not living. Being will bring up a rich, full and rewarding life. Then, worldly goods will not matter any longer. 177. Wanting a thing pushes it away from us. 178. When I want more money, I tell the universe that in effect I do not have enough money. Thus that is what I get, the state of having no money. The saying, I want success produces exactly that, it produces an experience of wanting. I am, is a statement, a command to act. When one asks to want something, so the universe give the state of wanting, not having. 180. In addition to an affirmation of what we want, we need to have gratitude for having it already. Thank you God for bringing me success in life. Know that things will happen, have happened, thus thank God in advance. 181. We always are, body, mind and spirit. Even after death. 185 to 186. Our body's actions should reflect our being, not dictate it. Thus, we should do what we love, as this is what we are. The conscious person's soul precedes a decision, before the body's action. We cannot create a state of the soul through an action of the body. Life is not about what the body does. Yet, what the body does is a reflection of what our lives is about right now. If you believe you are a person who supports his family at all costs, even sacrificing your own happiness, then you should love your hard work in life since it facilitates your statement of yourself as you have chosen. You should not complain how hard you work to support your family. If you see yourself as a woman who works at jobs she hates in order to meet responsibilities as she sees them, then you should love your hard job, for it totality supports your self-image. We can love everything the moment we understand what we are doing and why. No one does anything they do not want to do. 187 to 188. Many people love their illnesses, and use some of illnesses to feel sorry for themselves and to get attention. Those health problems that we do not love, are those that went too far, farther than we thought they might go when we created them. We compete with other people, and wonder as for strokes. In effect we worry ourselves to death. Worries and hate are destructive forces. Worry creates biochemical reaction which harms us. Worry comes from a mind that does not see its connection to God. Fear is the opposite of what humans are. Thus, fear has an effect of opposition to our health. Fear is worry magnified. All illness is created first in the mind. All of life is first a thought. Thoughts are like magnets, they draw things. Thoughts may not always be obvious as in, I am going to contract a terrible disease. A thought may be subtle, I am not worthy of living. 189. Thoughts are subtle, yet powerful. Words are less subtle, they are denser. Actions are the densest energy. Faith can reverse negative thinking, which took a physical form. Faith and belief in the positive force of the universe. Healers have faith, and a knowing that we are all whole, complete, and perfect in this moment now. This knowing is a powerful thought, so healers can sometimes heal from afar. Thoughts know no distance. 190. We take better care of our car than of our body. Why do we go to doctors and not use their advice and remedies? We mistreat our body because apparently, we have no will to live. 195. Our astronauts imagined themselves rocketing upwards to get to outer space, only to find when they got there, that they were looking up at the Earth. So suddenly a thing was neither up nor down, it was sideways. 196 to 197. The soul conceives, the mind creates, and the body experiences. These are three in one. Thus, if you can cause your body to experience something, like abundance, then soon you will feel it in your soul, which will conceive of itself anew, as abundant, and it will present your mind with a new thought. We are God's body. Our body is to our mind and soul, and in the same way we are to God's mind and soul. Ultimate reality is more than we think. Truth is more unlimited than we can imagine. 199. When we observe through a microscope, we see a whole tiny universe. But this has no end, as we can divide matter again and again forever. We cannot destroy it, only the form changes. 200. Infinity does not go in one direction. There is no end, going up and no end, going down. There is no end to smallness, and no end to bigness. This is the I am that I am. We cannot not be. We can change form, but not cease to be. 201. We are limited by what we know. We cannot be what we do not know. There is no limit to what we can become. Spirit, mind, body. Conceive, create, experience. 202. We are already a God. Some people simply do not know it. 209. Conversations with God Book 1 deals with personal issues. Conversations with God Book 2 global issues. Conversations with God Book 3 universal issues. 210. Open your eyes. The answers to your questions may come in an article already published, a film, a song, or a word just about to be said by loved one. End of part 3 of 3. Comment below and let others know what you have learned or if you have any other thoughts. Thanks for watching.